So if being on your back isn't a comfortable shape, know that you can always come to seated or child's pose. And so really no rush to land on your mat, but this is how we start our practice, is how we offer ourselves the invitation to also transition into our practice. Okay. So wherever is comfortable here on your mat, to just simply lay down. Hands can land anywhere, over top of your body, down beside you, overhead. Those of you that aren't seated, just finding a tall spine. And start to simplify this moment. Moving from the outside in. You might become aware of some external distractions. The sounds or movements around you. You may become aware of the interaction of your body in this external world, the temperature of your space, the feeling of clothing brushing up against your skin, the tactile quality of your mat, the ground beneath you. Once you become aware of this space that you've landed in, you can start to let that go and simplify by just going deeper beneath the layers of your skin. Start to notice how your body is feeling, any sensations that are calling your attention, any stickiness, achiness, anywhere that feels maybe resistant to land in this shape. Just notice it, simply giving your body the attention that it is calling you towards. If you do need to move or shift or fix anything in this moment, you are always welcome to change your mind, to move a little bit. However, when you do take these shifts, make sure that you're also taking a moment to just simply sit with that sensation or that feedback. Because sometimes when we just take a couple of breaths, the initial urge, the initial discomfort just starts to fade, dropping that distraction and allowing us to simply be in that moment. The same goes for your mind. So just becoming aware of any external thoughts that are playing a role in this moment. You can simply acknowledge them, acknowledge their ability to pull you off of your mat and out of your practice. And then just simply let them go and allow space for the next thought to move in. So not so much that we're clearing out all of this room and we're trying to sit in nothingness, but instead we're trying to attach to nothingness. That we notice the world around us, but we simplify by not having to hold all of these pieces together. That we just simply watch them weave within one another. We notice the sensations in our body and whether we need to take any shifts. We notice the thoughts that cross our mind. But the simplicity is that you never necessarily have to act on any of this. That it's just you and your physical body interacting with the world around you. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale out through your mouth. Let your body sink down. Inhale through your nose, chest rises. And exhale through your mouth, let your chest drop. Back body gets heavier. Inhale. Fill all the way up. And then exhale to empty all the way out. Let's take 2 more breaths together. Slowing down to just simply becoming aware of your own breath. Those of you that are in seated, just slowly and mindfully begin to make your way down onto your back. If you are on your back, start to wake up your body. So that might be wiggling into your fingertips and your toes. You can rock your head side to side, or even bring your knees into your chest and gently rock side to side. You might take a big good morning stretch. It can always feel nice to wake up the body. So just allow these next 5 or so breaths to eventually bring you into this shape with knees in towards your chest, but there's no rush to land here. And if you are already here, you can just pause and enjoy the space you have to not have to rush to get to anywhere, but to just simply ease and transition slowly to this next pose. Keep your big toes in towards one another with the knees into your chest. And then gently draw your knees out towards the sides of your rib cage and bring your hands to the insides of your feet or your ankles. So not quite a full happy baby. Your toes are towards the midline of your body, knees are splayed out. And then you can always gently rock side to side here. More like you're in an upside down child's pose. Feel the inner thighs beginning to open up. You can always circle out your ankles if you'd like, if you have a hold of your shins. As you inhale, allow your belly to fill up in between your thighs. And as you exhale, let it hollow out. And you can do this next movement, whether you have a hold of your feet or your ankles. On your next inhale breath, just start to kick your right heel out, extend the leg. Left heel stays in towards the midline of your body. And then as you exhale, bring that heel back in. Inhale breath, kick the other heel out, straightening out that leg. And then exhale to bring your heel in. You're just moving side to side with this, like you might in Happy Baby, but just simplifying it a little bit more. So just one leg is moving at a time, extending out and then bending back in. Take about 1 more of these to each side. Using your full inhale breaths to come into extension, and full exhales bring you back through center. The next time that you come in through center, bring your hands to the outer edges of your knees and close your knees together. Keep your right knee in towards your chest, extend your left heel up towards the sky, and then slowly start to lower your left heel down. As you do so, feel like you're pulling your foot away from your body. Start to work into some core activation. Eventually, left heel will gently come down towards the mat. Then you can take your right knee more to the side of your rib cage. Just really focus on the opening of your left hip flexor. Continue to draw your heel away from your body. You can always hug your right knee in a little bit closer. And allow the expression of your breath to move down the entire front line of your body. So as you breathe in, your breath moves from your throat to chest to belly. Maybe even it feels like it moves into that left hip. And then as you exhale, it's a cool rinse back out. Bring your right knee back over top of your rib cage. Slide your left heel up, plant your left foot down, and then cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. Now you can stay here, or you're welcome to float your left foot off of your mat for thread the needle. Hands can interlace behind the back of your hamstring or on top of your shin. Flex into the foot of the leg that's crossed so that you're supporting your knee. And then if you need any little movements, you're always welcome to gently rock side to side or bring your knees more to the left or more to the right in this shape. I always find that one of the sides will give you a bit of a deeper opening in the piriformis and muscles of the glutes. So just depending on what depth you need today, finding that in this shape. Can you hold in stillness and just simply become aware of your body and of the sensation of this pose? And then just as simply allow your awareness to release as you release fingertips. Foot floats down towards your mat, back into figure four if you were in thread the needle. And slowly lower your feet towards the hip of the leg that's planted. So the ankles that's crossed will come and plant down onto the ground. Optional to bind your opposite hand to foot, or you can always grab the shin or even just below the knee if that's more accessible. Gaze can come in the opposite direction than where your feet and knees have landed. If you're looking for more sensation, the knee that's pointing up towards the sky, you can start to press into that foot and draw your knee away from your body, or even play with rolling the lifted hip down towards the ground. Allow your awareness to come back in towards your breath if you've been really focused on the body. Bring yourself into the center of this practice by just simply becoming aware that you are the mover. You are the one in charge of your practice and this depth. By truly feeling into your own body rather than almost living outside of yourself and just moving through this, can you be present with each movement, with each breath of your practice? Gently unwind on your next inhale breath, lifting your knees up through center, and then release both feet to your mat. Walk your feet out wide and gently wash your knees over to the left and over to the right. Whenever you're ready, find wind relieving pose on the other side. Hugging your opposite knee in, extend your other leg up towards the sky, and then slowly, slowly, slowly start to lower your heel down to the ground, and at the same time, allow your heel to pull away from your body. Knee comes towards the side of your rib cage. Take a couple of fluid, simple breaths. Our breath is an autonomic part of our nervous system. So you don't really have to think about breathing, but can you just become aware of how you're breathing? the quality of these breaths, whether they're shallow, whether they're short, or they're deep and sustained. Notice if you're just breathing through the lungs, or can you take your breath all the way down towards the belly, full diaphragmatic breathing. Knee comes back over top of your body. Slide your extended leg up so that foot plants, and then cross your ankle over top of your thigh. Optional, stay here in figure 4 and just root through your foot, pressing your knee away from you, or optional to float your planted foot off of your mat and catch behind your hamstring or on top of your shin. Again, you're always welcome to find some movement if that feels right for you this morning. You can play with drawing your knee that is closest to you away from your body, or you can just simply allow your legs to rest heavy in towards your chest. Notice how much effort you are putting into this moment. And is that effort really necessary? Sometimes I think we get so concentrated on forcing something that we focus all of our effort on the outcome, or all of our effort on getting there. And we forget to enjoy the journey along the way. And especially when we talk about what is your why isn't that ultimate end goal. It's really, why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you take each breath? Why do you say the words that you say? And so it's not so much about where you're going, but about how you're moving through your day-to-day life. And can you find that balance of effort and ease? If you do still have a hold of your hamstring or shin, gently release that foot down. Lower your knees towards the side where your foot is planted. Finding figure 4 twist on the opposite side. Gaze falls the other way. Then your feet and your knees. Eyes can close. Each time that you come towards your mat, your practice is completely new. And it's new because it's now. That your body has never before been in this exact orientation, that your body has never experienced all of the events that you have up until this point. And so this is where you can find that same why, but apply it to this moment. Why today you show up as you are. Why you choose this intention, and how to express that through physical self as you land here on your mat in a completely new moment. Gently start to lift your knees up through center. Untangle your feet one last time. Walk your feet wide and gently wash your knees to the left and over to the right. Eventually, land your knees over towards the right side and roll yourself onto your right hip for fetal position, curling up tight, head rests heavy into your bicep. If you've just now been figuring out what your why is this morning, just sit with that for a moment before you start to move into the rest of your practice. If you already know your intention for your practice, you can repeat it to yourself a couple of times. Just simply as a reminder of why we show up, especially when things get tough. when our practice challenges us or asks us to be courageous enough to show up. If you need longer here, you're welcome to take it. Otherwise, press into your left hand and start to lift yourself up through tabletop, facing the front of your mat, working through spinal extension and flexion. Stack your bones. As you inhale, drop your belly down, gaze up, heart pulls forward. And then as you exhale, press in towards the earth, curl and round through your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest. Inhale, breath, belly becomes heavy, slide shoulder blades together. And then exhale, curl and round. You can even sit your hips further back if you'd like. Inhale, start to pull forward into your cow pose. And exhale to curl and round into your cat. Take one more round of cat-cow movements. And then come all the way back to your center. Walk your knees wide. Take your big toes together to touch. Sit your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Start to walk your hands forward. And instead of making this child's pose about length and trying to reach as far as possible, really focus on sitting your hips back towards your heels, maybe even creating a slightly rounded spine. Forehead or cheek can come towards your mat if forehead is not comfortable. I love these moments within the practice where we just simply get to pause, to reset. And I've noticed even within my own self-practice, taking these pauses more often as a reminder of just being a part of the practice rather than simply moving through to get to the end of our hour together, is to just simply enjoy being in this space, to even enjoy being awake before the rest of the world really starts moving, to enjoy this time and space to yourself. Slowly start to peel yourself back away from your mat, knee into your tabletop. Tuck your toes under. You float your knees off of your mat, hovering tabletop. Draw your belly button up towards your spine. Beautiful. On your next inhale breath, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then exhale, press your heels towards the ground. Now, if that feels too short, you can always walk your hands one hand print higher. You can always walk your feet out wider if you need a little bit more space or stability. Don't be afraid to move through this pose. First time that you've been in down dog today, it can always be nice to pedal out your feet. Going to move through the spine in down dog. So the first couple of rounds will take slow, and then the next few will move a little bit faster with breath. So as you inhale, start to pick up your heels. As you exhale, lower to a hovering tabletop. Bend your knees, take your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, breath, start to press your hips up towards the sky. Knees will stay bent. And then exhale, straighten out your legs and drop your heels. Think about rippling through the spine. Inhale, breath, roll forward, picking up your heels. And then exhale, start to bend your knees to your mat, hovering tabletop. Inhale, take your hips back, knees bend. And then exhale, you can straighten out your legs and drop your heels down. Okay, this time it's gonna take a full inhale to bring you forward, and then a full exhale to bring you back. So inhale to hovering tabletop. And then exhale, press into your hands and your hips high and back. Inhale, ripple forward to hovering tabletop. And exhale, press into your hands, downward facing dog.
One more time, inhale, breath, ripple forward. And then exhale, send your hips up and back. Look forward to the top of your mat and tippy-toe your way all the way up, taking your time to meet at the front. Feet hip-width distance apart. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. 2 more breaths just like that. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, let that go. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, gather your hands to heart center. Inhale, breath, reach up. Catch your left wrist with your right hand. And then as you exhale, start to pour over to the right. You'll be in standing. Feet are still hip width distance. You can always start to take your hips over to the left, really stretching out through that side body. Inhale, breath, come back up through center, switch your grip. Exhale, pour over to the other side. Soften your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Inhale, breath, lift all the way back up through center. Exhale, swan dive forward, sweep your arms out to the side, pour over top of your thighs. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, bend your knees really deeply so that you can place your right hand onto your mat. As you inhale, kick out your left hip. Left hand comes towards your hip or the sky. Left leg straightens, adding in a twist. On your exhale breath, bend both knees, fold through center, left hand replaces right. Inhale, twist open to the other side. Right hand reaches up, right hip kicks out. And then exhale to fold. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left toes back. Lower your left knee to the ground. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. I like tucked, but really it doesn't matter, whatever feels best for your knee. As you inhale, reach your arms all the way up and overhead. All right, right foot in front, left foot back. Bring your right hand towards your right hip. As you inhale, reach your left fingertips up. As you exhale, just start to pour over. This next movement you can find either with hands towards the ground, or you can keep your hands on your hips. Start to sweep your left fingertips forward out in front of you. Left hand either lands onto the ground or onto your hip, and take your right hand over. Okay, so you're now pouring over to the other side. And let's just do that 2 more times to each side. Take a full breath in. Exhale, sweep your right hand forward, either planted down beside you or on your hip, and inhale, reach left fingertips over. Exhale, sweep forward. Inhale, right hand reaches to the left. 1 more time to each side. Inhale, breath to reach left fingertips over, and exhale through center. Last time. Come all the way through center, walk both hands to frame your front foot, and then shift your hips back, pull up your right toes, half splits. Okay. Back, knee, and hip are in one line. If your hips are going all the way back towards your heels, just slide your front heel, your right heel forward. Lengthen out your spine like you're taking a halfway lift. And then keeping your left hand rooted down, start to twist open to the right. So right hand slides up either towards your lower back or can reach up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another in this shape. That will help to square your hips and pull your right hip back. Exhale, breath, gently release your right hand down. Bend back into your front knee. Walk your hands to the inside of your front foot. Okay, this is a little bit different. Pick up your left toes and turn and point your left toes to the long edge of your mat. So you're creating a kickstand. Okay, beautiful. Take your left hand up to the sky. back of your right arm presses into the inside of your right leg. Press your leg back in towards your arm. So you should feel a pretty strong activation of the adductors. Amazing. Hold for one more breath. And then as you inhale, lift all the way up. Start to straighten out your front leg. So right leg starts to straighten. Take your left hand down towards your mat and reach your right fingertips to the back of your mat. Big, juicy stretch through the side body. Optional to turn this more into a back bend by squeezing your glutes, sending your hips forward and drawing your right fingertips back. Turn towards the back of your mat, lowering your right hand down, pivoting your toes. Beautiful. On an inhale breath, press into your right foot and send your left heel skyward. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hip, three-legged dog. On an inhale breath, you can come up higher onto the ball of your right foot. As you exhale, gently step your left foot forward and lower your right knee towards your mat. Inhale breath, rise tall, hands overhead back into your monkey lunge. Your left hand this time comes onto your left hip. Inhale, reach up through the right fingertips, and exhale, just start to pour over. So this movement might look like you're just moving forward with the arms, hands onto your hips, or you can make this bigger, hands to blocks or hands to the floor. Okay, we're gonna move through 3 rounds of this movement. So as you exhale, start to take your right hand forward, either onto your hip or onto the ground, and then left fingertips circle over to the right. Exhale, breath brings you through center, and then inhale to the other side. So 2 more to each side. If this isn't working for you, you can stay in your lateral flexion, or you just find a smaller movement, but still opening up through the side body. Finish off this last round. Left fingertips will pour over to the right, and then hands plant down. Send your hips back and peel your left toes up. Half splits. Lengthen through your spine. Draw your collarbone towards your left big toe. Really root through your left heel. And then right hand stays rooted down, add in a twist. Left hand towards your left hip, or reaching all the way up towards the sky. Draw your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your inner thighs as though they could touch. Continue to press through your left heel, almost like you could drag it towards you. And then gently release from your twist. Bend into your front knee again and walk your hands to the inside of your left foot. Okay, kickstand your right shin. So turn your right toes to the long edge of the mat to point back behind you. And then open up right hand towards the ceiling. Rooting through your left foot, draw your inner thigh and the back of your arm towards one another. And make sure that neither of them moves. So you find this balance of opposites. On your next inhale breath, lift shoulders over top of your hips. Straighten out your left leg, and then right hand roots down towards the top of your mat, and left fingertips reach over. Soften your gaze, relax the muscles of your face. Beautiful. A little bit different this time. Gently release your hands out in front of you. Turn your right toes to face your left foot and make your way onto your seat. So you'll be in a half butterfly. Sole of your right foot lands in towards your left. Beautiful. Really working through the side body today. Optional, you can slide your left hand down your extended leg and reach your right hand up and over. Or you can add in a bind, left hand onto your right knee or thigh, and then right hand reaches up and over. Yogi's choice, whatever feels best for your body. So whether you want to work more into a fold or you're just working more into lengthening. Allow your head to come to a place that's comfortable for your neck. Close down your eyes. And then on your next inhale breath, slowly start to rise back up. Scoop up your extended leg, bending into that knee. Shoelace pose. Cross your left knee over top of your right so the pinky side edges of your feet come to the ground. Now, if this doesn't feel necessarily right for your knees, you can always take shoelace on your back. Coming onto your back, cross your left knee over top of your right. You can hug your knees in or reach for your opposite feet and draw your feet out into the other sides. Okay, so finding any variation of this shape, you can also just plant that left foot and hug your knee in. Okay, so lots of options. Slow this particular pose down to coming back to your intention. So maybe it got a little scrambled in the last sequence. Find what you need in this shape, whether that is staying upright or hinging or folding forward. Give yourself some space to just simply be in this moment and be with yourself, rather than trying to get anywhere outside of yourself, to just simply pause within. If you have folded forward, just gently start to walk your hands in towards your body. Walk your hands back, lean back, untangle your legs. You can plant feet wide if you need to wash out your hips. Otherwise, you're simply finding the other side. So now right knee crosses over top of your left, coming back into shoelace on the other side. Root equally through both hips. You can always lean back and kind of readjust where your feet are landing. Make sure there's no pulling on your knees. If you are on your back, you just stay there and switch the opposite knee to cross. Once again, close down your eyes and simplify this moment to just being aware of your breath. Even simplify by finding sensations that don't serve to pull you outside of yourself, but actually serve to bring you closer in towards your own body. Let go of what is right or wrong or too easy or too hard, and just simply find a place to land where you can be this fullest expression of yourself and you can be living in your why. If you have folded forward, once again, walk your hands up in towards your body. Those of you that are on your back, you can just roll towards the side that you were facing and press yourself up. Untangle your legs. This time your right leg extends out, left heel draws in, half butterfly. Okay, optional to just slide your right hand down your leg and left hand reaches up and over, or other option to take your right hand to grip your left thigh or knee to come into a bit more of a bind that will keep you more lifted, but actually gives you a little bit more depth and lengthening. Soften into the sides of your neck so that you're not straining to yank your head up. Just allow your head to become an extension of your spine. And then on your next inhale breath, come all the way back up through center. Okay, if you have sensitive knees, you may not need to do this transition. So you can always just make your way into a wide-legged fold from here. Otherwise, you can start to plant your knee that was bent, plant that foot. So left foot planted. Instead of heel far out from your body, try to lock your heel in. I like to use fingertips, and you're making your way to Skandasana. If you want more of a challenge, hands can come through heart center and you pick your hips up off of the mat. Otherwise, you can press into your hands and lift your hips up. Left heel will lift, right heel roots down. If this feels too much for your knees, keep both feet rooted, but still bending into your left knee, right leg straight. You're just gonna move side to side. For some of you, that may look like hands walk with you and you just bend into one knee at a time and shift left and right. For some of you, you may play with taking only one hand down, or if you really want to work into some strength and stability, hands can stay through heart center. You play with this shape as you move through side to side. You can always add in openings of the chest, adding in some arm movements. Don't worry so much about the expression of this pose, just really allowing it to almost be a dance of your body and breath. Let's take one more movement to the right, and you'll land in your movement towards the left. So as you start to bend in towards your left knee, listen carefully, lizard facing the back of your mat. As you shift through Skandasana, turn and pivot your toes to the back of your mat, land your right knee down, heel toe your left foot out a little bit wider so you have a wider stance. Left toes turn out to the side to about 10 or 11 o'clock. You can stay up onto your hands or you can lower down onto your forearms. It might feel nice to untuck the back toes to take some of the weight off of the kneecap. If you want to add in binds or twists, you can always reach your right hand back to pick up your back foot. You can even just press into the inside of your left thigh to add a little bit more, or roll to the pinky side edge. Take 3 more breaths in your lizard. And then gently on your exhale breath, you can release your grip of twist or bind. Hands will root down. Tuck your back toes to lift your back knee. Walk through a wide-legged forward fold to the front of your mat. Just keep your feet as they are and pivot them to meet in lizard, now facing the front. Back knee drops down. If you need more space, you'll toe your right foot further out to the side. Toes point out to about 1 or 2 on this side. Optional if you want to add in those twists or different variations. You can roll to the pinky side edge of the foot. Just make sure you're not pushing on the knee, you're pushing on the inner thigh. Maybe you bind, reaching back with your right hand. Notice the enormity of this moment to fill, that you don't have to do so much, that just to simply be in this shape, there's a lot of sensations. There's a lot of movements or shifts that you can always make if you need. But you don't necessarily even have to be at 100% of effort to be connected to your body and to feel an opening. Take 3 more breaths on this side. And releasing both hands to the inside of your front foot. Tuck your back toes to lift your back knee and step to the outside of your left hand at the top of your mat for yogi squat. Toes stay turned out to 10 and 2, hips sink down. Okay, I'll leave this variation up to each of you, so you're welcome to play with crow. You can just take your hands to your heart center. Sometimes if I'm feeling a lot in the lower back, I actually just like to fold and drape in between my thighs, tucking chin to chest. And so whatever variation feels good for you today. Giving yourself 5 full cleansing breaths in this shape. To bring yourself back into the center of your practice. On your exhale breath, come out of what variation you are so that fingertips can come to the ground. Forward fold, pick up your hips, turn your toes to face the top of your mat, and then bend deeply into your knees. Let's flesh this out with 2 twists to each side, right hand planks. Inhale, kick out your left hip, twist open to the left side of the room. Exhale, bend both knees, left hand comes down. Inhale, straighten out your right leg, add in a twist. And exhale, bend back through center. One more time to each side. Inhale, open up to the left. Exhale through center. And inhale, open up to the right. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, breath halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step yourself back to a tabletop, and then shift yourself onto your seat. So feet move out to either the left or the right, and then scoop your feet out in front. Bring yourself so you're about halfway up your mat, legs extend out long, and then shift your hips side to side so that you're really rooting down through your sits bones. If you wiggle around a bit, you should feel 2 bones at the base of your spine. If toes together doesn't feel good, you can always take your feet a little bit wider. Inhale, breath, just reach your fingertips all the way up. And exhale, start to hinge and fold forward. Tuck your chin down towards your chest. You feel the lengthening of the back of your body, so not just into your hamstrings, but also all the way down your spine, maybe even into the back of your head and neck. As you breathe in, can you feel your body lift even just a couple of millimeters naturally with the breath? And as you exhale, can you feel yourself sink down? Following this gentle rhythm of your body, really, really simply inhaling and exhaling. When we start to overcomplicate things, we add in too many variables, we bring ourselves out of our body and we start to go into our minds because we think we can logic our way through it. We can find the answer by thinking. But so often, if we just simplify it, the answer is already there. We actually just need to let go of the distractions, the complicated portion of that moment, and just sit with what is real and what is true. What is my intention? How do I get back to that? And it's often a really simple answer. So before we move down onto our back, even in this shape, if your mind is starting to shift about or you're coming outside of your body, how can you shift yourself back in? Is it through less depth or just through simply becoming aware of your breath? But how do you bring yourself back in towards this practice, stepping outside of your mind and back into your body? Take your time to move up to a neutral spine. So you can think about stacking vertebra by vertebra. Head will come up last. Scoop your feet over to the right. So you're gonna sit over onto your left hip, right knee, right ankle over top of left, and then start to slide your right knee back. So create kind of a pinwheel shape with the legs, but your right knee can be in closer to your left foot or further away. And then just simply walk yourself towards the back left corner of your mat. You can stay up onto a hand or forearm. Reclined deer, some of you may lay all the way back, just making sure that there's no pulling into your back knee. If there is, just come up a little bit more, lessen the sensation and the depth. You can always lean back onto both hands. If you're looking for more openings, squeeze into your back glute to send your hip forward. Close down your eyes. That is one surefire way to simplify, is to let go of having to look at everything around you and start to look within. If you have leaned all the way back, instead of trying to lift up through center, walk along your outside hip. So you'll start to walk your hands towards your left hip and then all the way in front of you. Just simply scoop your back knee around and in front. Find the other side, sitting over onto your right hip. Left knee will draw back. And then whenever you're ready, just starting to lean to the back right corner of your mat. Optional one, both hands, forearms. As long as you're getting the release into the hip flexors and quads, you're exactly where you need to be. And you don't have to overthink exactly how far down you need to go. If you're feeling sensation and you're connected to your body, can you allow that to be enough today? Once again, walk along the edge of your mat to come towards the front. And then once you've squared your shoulders to the front, scoop up your back knee. Plant both feet. You can grip your hamstrings to help yourself lower all the way down. And then it might feel nice to just take one big stretch once you land onto your back. You might even yawn or just reach through the entire body. And then as you exhale, gently soften. Whenever you are ready, bend into your knees, planting your feet, and just walk your feet out wide. Allow your knees to drop in towards one another. Notice if you have a really big gap beneath your lower back and the ground. Think about drawing your belly button down and like you're trying to squish some air out of that gap. This might bring you out of some depth with your feet, so you may need to readjust. But essentially just finding a long spine. So we're not dumping into the lower back, but we're allowing each and every one of our vertebrae to be rooted and connected towards the back. Same with the back of your neck. If you notice that you have a really big gap there, take your chin and slightly tuck it in towards your chest so that you're elongating through the back of the neck as well. Hands can come onto your belly or belly and heart. Just sit with a gentle rise and fall of your breath as you pause in internal rotation of your hips. If you need a little bit longer in this pause, you of course are so welcome to take that. Otherwise, you can gently release your knees away from one another. You're welcome to wash knees side to side or even take knees into your chest and just rock side to side. I'm going to take one final movement before we close off practice together. So bring your feet into the air, hands into the air, like you're in dead bug pose, and just simply start to shake. Shake your hands, shake your feet, your ankles, like you're shaking away anything that is complicated or it feels sticky or tight. Shake, shake, shake for 3 more breaths. And then on your last breath, pause. Allow sensation to drip down your arms and your legs. And slowly start to bring your knees into your chest and then feet onto your mat. And one at a time, just extend your feet out. Shavasana, hands come down beside you. This is your home practice, so if you do need a different pose to close off, of course you're welcome to. But after all of that last little bit of movement and of shaking, can you now just give yourself the pause? I think sometimes when we're feeling so disconnected, we're often running at high speeds. And our attention is divided between a multitude of people and places and tasks. Even if we're not physically doing a lot, there's a list of shoulds stored up here of who we should be, of what we should be doing. There's a list of guilt of what we're not doing. And to be true to your why is often just to simplify, to let go of the shoulds or the judgments or the to-do lists, and to just simply be in this moment. Reminding yourself why you get up out of bed in the morning. Reminding yourself in the midst of an argument with a loved one of why you chose them in the first place, which maybe allows you to let go of the complicated aspects of the situation and to just choose love over fear. Remember, in those challenging aspects of your day-to-day life, why you show up. And perhaps they seem a little less complicated or frustrating. Your why infuses you with everything that you do. And so moving into the rest of your day, just simply sit with why. And come back to it as often as you need a reminder to simply be in that moment and any moments moving forward. Bring you out of this shortly. I'm just giving you a bit of silence on my end.
If you have nowhere to be and you want to take this Shavasana a little bit longer, you are so welcome to. In the mornings, I like to keep Shavasana a little bit shorter so that we don't lose our traction and energy for the day. If you want to close off on your back, if that's the case, you can just simply take hands to heart center, laying down. You are ready to transition and move into your body again. You can start to do so in a way that feels nourishing and kind. And eventually, over the next minute or so, just make your way up to seated. You can keep your eyes closed for this transition. Head humbles down towards your chest, hands to heart center. The how is really complicated. For us to know the how, we would have to have insight into the future. We'd have to understand the past fully. And both the future and the past are busy and are unknown and are complicated. But what isn't is the present. The present moment is simple. It's what's right here, right now, for you to touch and explore and interact with. And so in your present is where you find your why. Notice if you're landing in the past or the future today, just simply pull yourself into your present and offer yourself the reminder of intention and why you choose to show up. So much love and so much gratitude to each of you moving forward throughout the rest of your day and weekend from the bottom of my heart. Namaste.